Hey everyone, welcome back first of all. And in the last video, we covered all the core concept of REST APIs like HTTP methods, status codes, and endpoints and middleware. And why don't we store front end data directly to that? Meaning, why does REST APIs are stateless and all of these things, right? Now it's time to actually build something. We'll keep it very simple, and in this video, I will show you how to build a creative operations using Express.js. All right, and we will follow all these concepts that I taught you in the previous videos about like HTTP methods, status codes, and how to handle the errors and what are the things that you should be aware while building APIs and all of these things, right? So this video is more about understanding how everything's connect practically. So let's jump right into it. All right. So I have just set up a very basic code for you. Like as you can see here, nothing. I've created a folder, a REST API tutorial, and I just did npm I in it npm init, and after that I installed the Express and Node package. How did I do it? Well, I hope you know by now that how to set up a basic Express server, right? This is nothing fancy, and I imported it, used it, and then I did this. It is for the how to pass the body when we are sending data from the front end, right? So it is useful in that. And after that, I just did what I just created a different folder for routing. Like all of these tasks will be into this routes folder. All right, and then this is the default mm, like a route that it will trigger. All right, anyway, and this is what to start the server. So I am listening it on 5001 port. All right, so that's it. And in this folder, if you go, there's a routes file. You don't have to name it this way. You can name it anything you want. And in this, nothing, just express and router. I'm getting that from express.router. All right, and then I'm exporting it. That's it. This is it in this file. So we will start from the scratch, and also you will get the starter code for this tutorial. Like exact, this is where I am right now. So you will get the starter code of that also, so that you can download it from the YouTube video, and we can start from the same. But I'm assuming that you guys know what Express is and how to set up a basic web server. So that's why I'm not wasting time to build it from the scratch. I mean, it could take just 5 minutes and that's it. But I don't want to waste that. All right. So without wasting any time, let's start. All right. Anyway, so for this, we don't have actual database. So what we're going to see is what we are going to use actually is we are going to assume that this tasks is equal to array. This is our database. Like it is not database, but we are going to assume that this array is our database. We will store, update, get all of this from here. All right. So now we will create the endpoints, and if I can just show you here, we need to create 4 endpoints, and those should be get, task, add task, update task, but I'm writing task, delete, delete task. These will be all endpoints that we need to create. Like this is what we want to do uh, on the task, right? We want to add the task, we want to get the task, and we want to update the task, and want to delete the task from front end. Like first, right? This is what an uh, task management would look like. A simple task management would look like, right? So how do we do it? Well, we will start from the getting. Well, we have explored all of these things, so let's do it. Router dot, and we want to use the request that we want to get. So for example, get request, and this will take an single string because we just want, and this will take request, response, and rest. So this route become that any request that comes to through this uh, localhost. I'm not writing that entirely, but slash loc like main URL slash API slash task will be hit by here. This this means, this router means, and how do, like, you might be thinking, okay, but Ajay, where does this API and task come from? Well, if you go to app file, this is where I'm using this routing, right? So what I'm saying, app.use is, it's a middleware, right? And I'm sure you know it by about it, but I'm just explaining to you again. So this is prefix, and then we are saying any request that comes to API/task, send them here in this folder or in this file, and they will be coming here. So API task will come from here, and we are adding slash, so that request will be here, processed by this routing. And what do we want to hear? Well, as its name suggests, we want to return all the tasks. So all we have to do is res dot status. Remember I told you about status, because this method is successful. So we should return status 2000 and, sorry, 200 and JSON and tasks. That's it. So what did we do? First we set the header to 200, meaning that the response is, so that when client hit this request, it will get the status 200, meaning the request is successful. And we return all the, whatever the tasks have, we return all of that here, right? That's a get request. Now let's go to the second. We will test it later. And the post is also similar. Like for example, all we have to do is add the task, same router dot post, same URL. The request is post this time, so we don't have to worry about that. And as I told you in the explanation or theory part of this video, that these are methods: get, post, put, delete, HTTP methods. These are endpoints, meaning address where front client or front end anything will hit the request. So this will be processed by this router. So we have used this HTTP methods, status code, endpoints, right? So I hope you are enjoying it. Anyway, now this post, what we will do is we want to add. So we need to extract that from the body. Remember, adding means we are getting the data from the front end also. So what do we do? Well, in JavaScript, we can simply just extract it by this title, and this title should be present in the request body, request.body. And I know that this is how I will be sending the data, but if we can define schemas for them also, like there are so many ways that we can prevent, have a more predictable code. Basically, the prediction is the right word. Predictable code. Like for example, when we know that, okay, where does this title come from, and how do you know? Well, I know it. How do I want my task management to look like? There will be simple application interface where a title will be shown, and that's it. No description, anything. If you want to get to the description, you have to add the description here, or anything you want. Like for example, image, video, whatever you need to add here, and you need to handle it. But I just want my API to look very simple, and my application also to look very simple. So when you design API, you need to understand the requirement. Now my requirement was very clear, that I need to perform CRUD application and simple task application which will have title. That's it. So I know what my API will have. That's why I know that I need to get this title from the request body, because I am sending in the body. That's it. So now first thing we need to do is uh, we need to check no title. No title, meaning there is no title. So we should say, send something like, hey, there is no title. And how do we do it? Well, simple, as we did with that. All we have to do is send the response, and we are going to say return res dot status 400 404 or 400. Let's see, 400 is fine, I guess. JSON, and again the message is in the JSON format, data, or should I send something else? Let's just say error. Here should be title is not present. So if you don't send the title, it will give us this error, and with this status code 400. And as a front end developer, they can utilize it however they want, right? Now you might say, RJ, we don't need to check it here because we can check it on the front end also, and that whether we are sending the title or not. Sure, you can check it on the form when you submit that, because hey, this field can't be empty, you need to send it. But it's good practice. I'm just showing you how to handle these cases, right? Empty field, how to send the error message, or how to send the, like, handle these things. Remember I told you about the how to handle errors or something like that. So this is how you do it, right? And if the title is found after doing everything, all we have to do is create the new title. And for my case, what I'm doing is simply I'm adding this task.add, sorry, push to the title, meaning remember the database that we had, template database. This is, I'm just adding here that add this task and return a success message that your task has been created. So rest dot status code would be 201, and dot json is equal to, we can send the message if you want, like you can send anything. We can send the message, or we can send the task that edit. Mostly we do this by sending the title, but let me just put it in the this form, like this. We send this, and yeah, that's done about post API. And obviously we will test, so don't worry about that. And let me go here and now work on the update. Now so let's work on update. Now you have to do the same thing, router dot port, and again the URL. The only difference is now you need to do this ID. And why are we doing it? Let me explain you in a minute. First let me write this basic syntax. Now what does this do is it will be dynamically generated from the front end. Now we don't know what it is, right? So we just assuming that okay, this column slash ID means we are sending the ID from the front end, and we need to get it from here in the parameters. Like if you have you ever seen something like this, uh, like API slash task slash 1 or 2 and 3 or anything, for anything we are, this 4 is dynamically will be here, right? So that we can use. Now you might also say, Ajay, why do we need it? Like we can just simply get the board in the body. I mean, sure you can. There's no one is stopping you. It's just how do you prefer it? Like sure you can send the ID into the body also, and we can get the from the body. But I'm just showing you how to do it from the params also. And this is the standard also. Like whenever you get something, you place the ID in front of that endpoint. Like so, usually this is the practice that we follow, and this is easier when we are using on the front end, when we want to click on the button, we want to send the link request or something like that. Okay, so that's why we use it, and let me show you how to extract that ID from it. It's simple again, const, or you can use let ID. I'm just using the ID here, and request dot params. This time is pair from params, right? And again const title is equal to request dot body, because I'm sending the data in the body also. New title, I should say new title, but I think title is fine because we don't want to mess it up. Anyway, so we want to updating. So what do we do? First, we need to check it again. We can check all of these things. I can just copy this. If title is not present, we said we can't update it, empty thing. So I'm just putting it here, right? This is it. And also what we can do is that if ID is, let's just say, uh, more greater than the length, then it should not also work. So we can handle these errors, and exactly this is how you handle these errors, like something like this. You just say if ID length. So for let me just show you. First let me check ID. If ID First, let me convert this into parse into int id is greater than or barabar uh, task dot length. Then it should also give error that id is not valid, because it can't be bigger than this, and also smaller. So we can check smaller, but you understand what I'm saying, right? So we are done with that. Now if both of these things are like available and not violating these conditions, so we know that it's a valid request and we should update it. So all we have to do is tasks id is equal to title. We are updating the title, and again we need to send the status code. Again we can send the same status code. There is it's 200 request, and the task that we updated, we need to send that. So we can do something like this: title. So we can just send this title. All right, so this is update, and now let's go to the final. Delete. What if the request comes for deletion? Same thing we need to do. Again, I'm copying pasting it from till here. I'm just copy pasting it because it's the same, and I'm just closing it. And instead of put, I am just putting it delete. Now again, as I told you about these methods, that you don't have to do like use this delete post put whatever that we are doing here. It is for the convenience and it's the standard practice, and this is how you should do it. But I can do all of these things, get, push, put, delete, in just any of these methods. Like for example, in a delete I can write the logic of get, because it's just a standard. There is not like if you use delete it will be deleted. No, we have to write the logic of how to delete, what to delete. It's just that okay, when we see this, let me just remove this. When we see this, we are like, oh, you know what, okay, it's a delete request, so let's handle the delete logic here. So it's for developers and it's for the code predictability, and maintenance is good. Now you know which code is where. So these are the things that are more important than anything else. Otherwise you can just write anything, any logic here. Like I can write the get logic in delete request, and that won't be a problem. But the problem is it will be confusing for the front end and for the you also, like when you are writing the code, like what in the delete we are getting results. No, student, the delete request should be to delete. Like it's like a predefined rule where we are setting standard, like this is what we need to do, right? So let's start. Delete request is coming, and some id will be, we will be needing id. Otherwise how will we delete? We need some kind of identifier, right? And so we get that id from the params, because this is how we will send it from the front end. And again we can check, let me just copy here also, that this id should be valid. And let's put it here, and if it is valid, all we have to do is task dot splice id and 1. It is deleted. If you know how splice works, right? Again I can send the 204 message here, like for example rest dot status is 204, meaning no content. Like it did its job, and that's it. We can do this, and instead of JSON I think we can just use send here. That's it. Or you can just do 200 also, it doesn't matter, because and then you can send the JSON data that hey, let me just copy here. Let me just copy this method. So this thing, and instead of error we can say data and say deleted. Deleted. That's it. So all of these four APIs are done. So as a backend developer, now it's your job is done, and now you need to test it. You can't just send it to front end like, hey, test it. It's not their job, right? It's our job to test. Now our server is running on this 5001 port, and I have this Thunder client. Uh, Here it is, and let me just open it. So let me just do this and body. So first we will try to get now API slash test. Let me just first show you this. If I do this, what do you think will happen? We are getting hello world. So what we are doing is this is getting triggered because we are just sending simple slash request, meaning no this. Now if I send this API slash task, API slash task. So what will happen is it will send us empty array, which is coming from here. The request is coming here. It's a get request. As you can see, it's a get request, and on this we are sending and slash. So it is matching this URL, and it is coming here. And okay, API task matched. So go on to this file, and when it comes to here, it will see okay, this is get request, and we matched this. And what it is doing, it is sending the tasks, and that's it. So we got the, and by default it's empty, right? So let's change it. Let's change it to post, and let's come to this body, and in the JSON let's send the data. And remember what data we need? I need a title. Simple. Title, which is going to be new task. That's it. New task 1, let's just say. And as soon as I do that, new task 1 I got, and 201 is status code. Remember where does 201 is wrote? Well, it's written here. This is 201 is coming, and so as a front-end developer will see this. This is what the front-end developer sees: status code is 201 and the actual response, which is title and an object which is title and new task 1. That's it. So let's change it to 2 also. Let's add 2 more tasks and 3. So now we added 3 tasks. So if I change it to get, we should get 3 tasks here, right? And boom, the status is to 201 200, which we set, and the array of tasks that we are getting from here status 20, and all of the tasks we are adding in the task, and we are getting the tasks when we hit the get API. Now let's change it to post, which means I just want to, sorry, put, I just want to update this one. So I know that 0 1, so 1 index is there, so I need to update for 1 index. So what I have to do is like this. I have to put this index like this. This is what, and this one will be getting here on this put, and we are getting here ID. So let's just say for beginning, let me just explain it in a happy path, like it just works. So we are just passing a valid index. So this is 1, and I'm just passing, and in the body I need to pass a title also, right? Remember here ID and title we are getting from the body. Now we can just say 7. Let me just change it to 7. So this new task 2 will be new task 7, and 1 2 3 go. This new task 7 we send it the result from the backend. But as soon as I do this get, now let's see what happens. As you can see, we getting the new task 7 as in place of new task 2. So we successfully updated it. All right, and now let's check the error handling. So let's just say if I do 5, which is not a valid ID. In this case, there are 0 1 2 ID, 0 1 or 2, right? So if I send 5, so we should get the error that 400 earned ID is not valid, something like that, because in this case ID is not valid. So let's send 1 2 3 bad request, and the message is ID is not valid. How awesome is that? So now as a front end developer, they don't have to guess it. They can just say, okay, you know what, ID is not valid, let's do something about this error. So they can show the pop-up, or they can say something, they can do something with that instead of just blindly like, you know what happens. So the request is 400, which is you didn't send me the request. Remember 400, we didn't found anything with that ID or something like that. So this is we checked, and they just put ID is valid, but we don't send any title, so let's just remove it completely. All right, and send the request. Cannot distance property title of the body as it is undefined. And this is very important. I'm glad that this happened while I'm teaching you. This is not proper handling, because this internal server, meaning a server broke, we need to fix it on server because we didn't handle error properly. What if we didn't even send the id, title, or anything? In this case we didn't handle it. What we did was this, that the title is empty. This is what we did. The title is not present, but we need to have this title in the body. But what if we didn't send, completely didn't send and hit that? It will block our server, and that's is not good. We need to handle it. All right. So but now you see that this is what we meant when we, and what we did handle was for this case, that in the title it is just empty string, that's it, but the title is present. So in this case it is working fine. But what if we didn't send the title, like somebody is misusing our API? There are people, bad actors, who can misuse our API. So we need to handle these kind of cases also. All right, but first let's just go and check the delete. But and how do we handle it? Simple. The way we are doing it here, we will just put try catch rule. Like all of these things should be in try catch. For now I can just let me just show you. I can just put all of this thing code into the try catch. You just keep it here, and here if I come into this catch, or let's just use this, and I can just say key, and I can just return error dot message something, what I don't know, error dot, let's just say something is wrong. Let's just say for now. And but we need to clear the data again because it's temporary. So when I reload, when I saved it, it reloaded the server and all of this tasks that were stored here. So this file ran again, and because of that the tasks were initialized to empty, so we need to store again. So let's go to the post and at ours, let's just remove that, and I can just say new task one. Let's just add this first, added 2 3, and let's get the task, and we are getting 1 2 3 tasks, very good. And now let's try to put, but this time don't send anything, and let's just say one id. Like we want to update this task, but we are not sending the data, like title from in body. So we should get something is wrong, because instead of breaking the server, and we are getting something is wrong because it tries to get this title from the body and it didn't find it, so it just broke. We didn't handle, although we did handle it, but the what we handled is that the title is present but it's just empty. But in the test case, what we are doing is we are not even mentioning the title in the body. So it broke, but because of the try catch, what happens when anything if broke, it goes straight to the case. So instead of just breaking the other functionality, we are handled it something like this. Something is wrong, right? So this is more graceful than empty like random message is generating. So now this is in our control. This is called error handling. So this is how you handle error. Now obviously this is not the like best way to handle error, obviously, but you get the idea, right? Now let's try to update it with title something like 5. So I should get at the index 1 new task 5, and now we are sending everything, so it should work fine. And you get this 200 message and new task 5, which means it is work fine. And let's just get it. So see, not this one, this. So as you can see, there's a new task 5. Same thing we need to do, delete, and 1. I need to delete this 5. Deleted data is deleted, which is coming from here. we send if everything fine. So send 200 status code is 200 and JSON data is deleted. That's it. So it coming, the status code is 200 and the data is deleted. And if you go and get all the data, we shouldn't get the task 5, and we are not, because we have only 2, because we deleted it. So that's it, guys. In this video we have learned how to create basic CRUD API. Now I know this is not the most like optimal way of creating a page, but you get the idea of that. How do we create CRUD operations? How do we get the data ID from the params? How do we get the data from the body? And how to handle basic error handlings? What happens if we didn't, like, if you're not sure if something could break or not, trust me, put it into the try catch block. Safest thing you can do. All right. And obviously there are so many things that you can learn from here, and you can, also comment on the video that what you want to learn from me. What you can do is, we can like predefine this data using middlewares. For example, here we are checking whether data is title is present or not. We don't have to check here. We can check on this level already, that whether the data is coming from, is it valid or not. And we can define the structure also. What we call them schemas. Schema means if we can design a schema that we, if the task related schema, we can design a task related schema where we can define like this is the what we are expecting from here in the title. So for example, in this title, the only available thing is string. If you find any special character or anything like this, we can do much more level of, like a security to our applications, and we can head routing more gracefully, obviously, and all of this error handling and everything. There are so many things that you can learn. All right, but this is just to on the next step. But this is what we need to do when we create the API. Naming your endpoints nicely, using proper status code, and using the proper HTTP code, HTTP methods like get, post for appropriate things. So these are very important. And the more you build, the more experience you will get that what should work and what doesn't work. Right? So you will get more idea of how can I do this differently. Because for here we are writing errors like this and responses like this into this, but we shouldn't do that, because we should make a class or any file where we should import it. So it's constant and we know what to return. So entire application is like a single source of truth. So instead of, because as you can see here we are saying ID is not valid, which is good, but and in the delete what we are saying data. So this is not, there's no consistency like what a front end will expect. Either if data is the method, the thing that you decided that it will be fixed, then use this only. So that's why we, instead of sending this, we use these success methods, failures, and all of these things to already predefined, so that we can just return. So we return the consistent message, right? So I hope this video was helpful, and if you want more on them, like for example how to handle error like more gracefully, how to use middleware for our things like this, to so that we don't have to check here whether ID was present or not, or title was present or not, and if they are valid or not, meaning the title is not some kind of expression, instead it is actually string. So if you want to add these validations uh, on the server side, how do we do that? If you want me to teach them, you can let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching and have a good day.